About 40 to 50% of everything grown in America never makes it to market. So what we do is we try to reduce the amount of food that is wasted in the field and distribute it to people who are hungry, because people who are hungry don't always have the budget to buy fresh, nutritious produce. So Society of St. Andrew is a nationwide gleaning and food salvage organization. We work to bridge the gap between produce grown in the fields and people who are hungry. We do that through gleaning and salvaging large loads that are turned away from the market for blemish reasons, size reasons, or just an overloaded market. We save and distribute millions and millions of pounds of perfectly nutritious food every year and distribute to the hungry.
We try to get food from the farms or from packing houses, food that would have otherwise been wasted, into the hands of the people who need it. We will move any type of food we can, but we prioritize the produce, the fresh fruits and vegetables that we pick in the field. And the best part about what we do is we pick it today and it'll be in the hands of someone who needs it today. It doesn't have to stay in a food bank or go on a truck for days. It literally is in their hands on their dinner table tonight, which is fabulous.
So we distribute to food banks, agencies, shelters, food pantries. If we have a large load of 40,000 pounds in a big truck, we will route it to a food bank. If we have a gleaning like this one, the group that is out here today is going to distribute it to about 15 smaller agencies that serve every week.
Gleaning is when the farmers have finished their harvest and they either have food left behind because they have what they need, they can't sell anymore, or the produce is too big, too small, has a blemish. We will come in and then glean or pick what's left in the fields. Everything is picked and then off to the agencies that same day. We give back to our communities. So today, where we're gleaning today, it's going to food agencies, food banks, church pantries, all within this county.
Statewide, we cover the entire state. Wherever there is a farm that has anything left in the field, if they know about us and they contact us, we'll get some volunteers out there. We have about 4,000 to 5,000 volunteers that work with us every year in Florida.
I'll be 94 in December. Been volunteering at the church ever since we moved here in 2001. It's always a good feeling when you're helping somebody else that needs your help.
Kelly or Barbara will let us know that there's cabbage to pick, there's citrus to pick. As soon as I know that, I'll solicit for volunteers from a list of about 80 to 90 that I have in a master list for gleaning ministry. They then communicate back to me via phone or email, 10, 20, sometimes 30 volunteers that are ready to go. Then it's important that I communicate to the church administration to get the bus, which needs to be able to transport the people out to the field, as well as sometimes a truck or something to carry the produce and or citrus back to the various charities or to the church where they come to pick it up.
We gather our volunteers about 8 o'clock in the morning usually, and they glean until about noon. So we just send them an email, tell them where that they need to go, what they need to wear. We ask them to wash their hands. We have a hand washing station for food safety. We pick into food safe buckets that we wash out after every gleaning. They pick for about 3 hours, whatever it is. Sometimes it's oranges, sometimes it's broccoli, sometimes it's lettuce, cabbage, whatever is available. And by noon, we've usually got a truck full.
So before the pandemic, about 35 million people in the United States were hungry. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, that number has risen. And so now we're at about 42 million people who are hungry. And we're going to need volunteers to glean the food, to pick, dig, or gather, bag it up. And then we'll need a receiving agency to actually serve it to their clients. So our work ends at an agency door. We work in so many communities, we can't know exactly who the hungry people are. So we work with agencies that are already on the ground, giving them food free of charge that they can share with their clients, which actually frees their budget to do other things like put tires on the van or add an after school program or whatever it is that they need to do, because we're giving them, the agencies, the food for free.
If you're interested in helping feed hungry families in your community, we want to work with you. We get to work with people in big agencies, small agencies, local neighborhoods. We get to work with individuals really being able to work at the grassroots level, it brings joy. And so if you're interested in being a part of that, whether you want to be a donor or a volunteer or take food back to your community, or you're a grower or even a backyard gardener, we've got a way that you can get involved in the mission to end hunger, and we want to help make that possible. So give us a call or go online at endhunger.org.
140 billion pounds of food gets wasted every year. So, to try to put it in an image that we can understand, it's the equivalent of every American throwing 650 apples out a year. That's a lot of food, and most of this food ends up in the landfill. So we are really trying to, I know we can never end that, but we're trying to bridge the gap from that. And that wonderful, beautiful, nutritious food that's perfectly edible should not end up in the landfill. It should end up on the tables of the Americans that need it, and anyone that needs it.